I got to try Arknights Endfield in the technical test, and wanted to share my first impressions of the game as someone who has never tried the Arknights franchise before. Let's talk about the basics of the gameplay, and my initial thoughts on it. Endfield is a tactical RPG with an open world filled with resources, enemies, and collectibles. Your party is composed of 4 characters, of which you control one at a time, while the rest are AI controlled. You can switch between characters freely, or by using their skill, which they will not use by themselves otherwise. Using a skill also freezes time mostly, making the combat similar to games like FF7 Remake or Star Ocean 2. Because switching characters maintains the same active position, this allows for boss mechanics to always be designed around the character you're currently controlling, so you don't get punished for the AI's positioning. Your teammates also make an effort to avoid telegraphs, and when they do get hit by them, they don't take damage. However, there are several basic attacks, both avoidable and unavoidable, that they will just face tank, meaning they are taking constant damage. I found that chugging healing consumables was pretty mandatory, especially because you don't even get your first healing character until chapter 2. Even as the active character, there is no actual dodging. The best you can do is get out of AoEs, or some basic attacks, by jump cancelling your animations to reposition. But even then, there are some attacks that are just targeted damage that you can't do anything about. As such, it's better to think of this more as a pseudo-turn-based game and less of an action game, in the sense that your team will take a lot of unavoidable damage, so gear and levels are important. I felt like a lot of the trash mob fights were very shallow, and boiled down to press all of your skills and then watch everyone auto-attack and trade blows. Boss fights, however, introduce mechanics that require you to either time your skills to interrupt the boss or avoid them by using the terrain, which I thought was decently fun. Similar to other open-world gacha games, there are instances that you could grind using your stamina, known as sanity in this game, but these were extremely linear and not very engaging to play at all, and they don't even have an auto function. However, unlike other open-world gachas, killing mobs around the map actually gives your characters a relevant amount of EXP, so it's nice to have options. Now, the uniqueness of Endfield is how you get materials for crafting. Sure, you could run around and hit ores, but that's just not efficient. Endfield has a building mode that lets you build structures around the world. You can construct ore miners to automatically mine ore deposits, and build a literal factory to automate the processing of materials. You will also have to manage your power grid by using electrical pylons to provide electricity to your machines. As someone who is typically not too interested in these types of games, I was having a lot of fun getting my factory started up. It was very satisfying to get the gears rolling and then know I was producing all the materials I needed to gear up all my characters. The story in Endfield is fully voiced, and I think the voice acting is pretty decent.
Is Landbreaker territory. You simply can't pass through our turf. 'Cause I said so.
The quality of cutscenes is also good, though there are some dialogue sections where the characters stand like literal statues. I'm going to assume that this is just early access shenanigans, because these look so bad that they're better off just putting static splash arts of characters on top of text boxes instead. In terms of UI, it's smooth and intuitive. My only complaint is that all the tips you receive will leave a red dot that you have to manually clear out. But hey, at least the UI is actually decent. Wish I could say the same about Tower of Fantasy. Overall, while I think the combat is a mid out of 10 for the most part, the boss fights are interesting, and there's room to optimize your team with weapon attachments, skill choices, and equipment. The building is what I unexpectedly had the most fun with. While initially I was reluctant to get around to crafting gear because I thought it would be tedious, it really felt rewarding to set up an automatic farm to get the materials I needed, and I'm actually excited to keep progressing the factory to unlock new build pieces. I'll definitely be trying this out when it releases. The factory must grow. And I'll see you guys next time!